episode of Inside Buccaneer Football, the Coach Phil Junkin Show. We are here preceding the senior night game, which will be Friday night right here in Buck Helen Stadium against a familiar foe, the Oak Forest Bumblebees. No, I think that's Yellow Jackets. We call them Bumblebees sometimes. But Coach, senior night is a special night.
Yeah.
It'll be the last home game for these seniors that stand here with us. And a lot of you watching may watch the Buck Vision broadcast, and you hear us talk about different ones. And these are a fine bunch of fellas, and we're going to give Coach Phil the opportunity to recognize them, tell us something about them, and mostly introduce our viewers to these fine gentlemen.
Well, Jeff, again, great to be here. I want to thank all our sponsors, first off, that make this possible for us to do this. One thing, Jeff, we do believe, or you might say senior night's that last home game, but the one thing that I want to let folks know is these young men that stand behind me here and their teammates take care of their business over the next 2 weeks. This won't be their last home game.
Right.
They'll be playing in the playoffs at home, and that was our goal at the beginning of the year. We want to be in the playoffs. We want to be playing at home. And it's been on the back of these young men that stand behind me and sit here by me that it's been made possible, because they very easily could have said, you know what, we're not buying into this program.
That's right.
We're not going to do this. We're going to, and there were several that are here, let's just be frank, that didn't buy in, and they're not with us during this year. And but they chose to stay, and we're very grateful for that. And I'm going to introduce them to you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
If you would have said home playoff game possibilities at this time last year, we would have had to cue Coach Jim Moore. Playoffs?
Right.
We were living in some cold times, but a lot of these that suffered those Friday nights where you go home and can't sleep and walk the floor all night, wondering if it'll ever get any better, have really earned their
they have, and we're very blessed. I think teenagers get a bad rap a lot of times.
Yeah.
If you and I, Jeff, had lived in an era with a cell phone,
Oh yeah.
Is all I can tell you. And I think there are many of us that can relate to that. Teenagers are teenagers. Times have changed. Things around them have changed, and this sport has evolved and changed. Kids are bigger, faster, stronger, and that's what we want to create. And but these young men came in, they bought into what we were trying to accomplish, and I'm sure they've had ups and downs. They probably wouldn't tell me if they did or didn't.
Right.
But it's it is life, and we're very proud of them. And I'm going to start over on this side with Jacob Mathern here to my right, your left as you're watching. Jacob transferred in from Oak Forest this year. I hired his mom and dad, and originally his plan was he was going to stay there, and I was going to wait until he graduated and hire his mom and dad. And well, it just worked out that he said, "Look, Mom, Dad, I want to come play."
Right.
And I'm very glad that he did. He's dear to me. He's a quality young man, a good student, and he's brought some energy to this football team. And there's been times he's brought me pain in my neck, but that's everybody.
Yeah,
we can say about that. But he's been a young man that has put forth great effort, and we're extremely excited to have him. And not only is senior night this week, it's a big week for him because it is Oak Forest.
Oh yeah.
It is Oak Forest. It's a big week for me because it's Oak Forest. I spent 7 years there, and I had a son that graduated from Maverick. We played 3 state championships there.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're not familiar with our folk, or that we're not familiar with the staff. I love every one of them. They're wonderful men, and a wonderful group of young men, and we still want to beat their brains out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just part of it. It's the game. And then, what can I say about Josiah Miller? Geez, this young man came to us, and he has lit up this weight room.
Oh yeah.
Brought a different energy to it. He's had a tremendous year running the football. He's got a great upside. Going to make some official visits. I think he's soon going to be making an official visit to Southern. Going to be able to get up and go to a Jackson State Southern ball game. And who knows? You get up there, you probably meet Coach Prime. There's a lot of things that are going for this young man. And Southwest Mississippi's got their eye on not only him but Kyron, and we're very blessed. And what I've also seen is I've seen the academic side for this young man begin to come up.
That's right.
Because athletically we know what he can do. But what a tremendous young man.
Oh, yeah.
He's brought a lot to our program.
Great family.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look, his mama got that thumb on him.
His mom and I.
And he loves horses, so he works good with me. And I've been trying to give him some horses, but I can't get my wife to turn loose of them.
That's the old Devin Dwight connection. That played LSU with Tampa now. He's a big horse.
Oh, absolutely. He's still the first guy that the first student. You always say never. He's still the first student that said, "Hey, coach, can I bring my horse? Take a picture with my date in front of the sign on the horse." And I thought, absolutely, that sounds like fun to me. And it was a pretty good picture, by the way. So, it worked out good. Had a beautiful horse besides that. And then I got 295 right here. This is his affectionate nickname that we gave Morgan Barrett. We call him 295 because he plays like he's 295 pounds.
Right.
And he might be 135 pounds soaking wet with lead in his shorts. But, at the end of the day, pound for pound, I challenge you to find a tougher cat than him. I would love to be able to take his mentality and drive and put it into some big bodies. You've heard that said.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've said it as a coach. I've heard it said 100 times as a coach. You can put that desire and attitude into a big frame. Imagine what you could get. But Morgan's brought so much to our program, and he was a young man that he was one of those that was hovering on that line last year. I don't blame him. He getting beat half to death. And he has been tremendous for us this year. And if we're going to make a push, he and the remainder of these young men are going to have to get it done. And you and I both know that when and if the playoffs come, wherever it is, everything's 0-0.
That's right.
It's a new season, a new day. Anything can happen. And he's been a tremendous guy for us, and was more than that, 4.0 kid. So here's a young man that in the classroom he gets it done, on the field he gets it done. Can't say enough good things about him.
I want to say something I've said before on Buck Vision. I don't think I've said it on this show. On behalf of Morgan Barrett, last year, every tackle, Barrett on the tackle, he won the Cedar Sword at least 2 times. And this year, not as many tackles. Well, he's just as good and probably better this year. But now we have defensive linemen and linebackers making tackles.
Yeah.
Safety leads your team in tackles, coach. That's not good.
No, it's not. And in the back end, one of the reasons we wanted to put him in the back end is for his cerebral ability, his ability to think, his ability to get us lined up properly, and he's done that. And there's been struggles and trials, and he's had to learn things and all of these guys have had to get out of a comfort zone of where they've been before. And I get, I'm different than Coach by again. There's every coach has their own way of doing it, and I got my way of doing it. Some like it, some don't. But they've been great for me, and I love every one of them, and I'm tickled about them. And then I got Kyron. Now Kyron, a lot of people may not know Kyron's brother, Cameron, played here, went to school, graduated with my daughter, and tremendous athlete.
Oh yeah.
And Cameron, you forgive me here, but he's better than you.
No,
I'm sorry.
Mercy.
He's more athletic. He's stronger. He's bigger. He's smiling right now too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's smiling ear to ear. Now I love you, Cam, but He's just, he's a special player. And, when you got a guy like a Drew Masita at Oak Forest, and you got a guy like Ron Rushing at Park Lane, and the first thing they come in is they start asking about a couple of your guys. And in particular, let's face it, they're saying 6 and 7. And they're saying, my gosh, these guys can run. And they can. Southwest has a lot of interest in Kyron right now, and that excites me for him to have an opportunity. And we're hoping that Alcorn State is going to get off of it and take a look as well, because I believe he can play there.
Oh yeah,
I believe either one of these young men can play there and get it done.
I think his mother and brother are both alumnus of Alcorn.
Yeah. Cam just graduated from there, and Kyron's been a big boost to us. He's shown leadership, and at the same time, I hope he's grown here. I hope he's enjoyed his time and in what we've done. And tomorrow night's going to be that night where here's your challenge, and I'm ready to see how all of them come out. But in particular, I'm excited to see how he plays. And then next to him is Debbie and Bickham. And Debbie came in, folks, this is the first time Debbie's ever played football. And when we started with him, it was real clear that was the case. Didn't understand a lot of things about the game, but he's picked it up. And if we didn't already have a very famous Fleet, I probably would give him the nickname Fleet 2.
Yeah.
Because he reminds me a lot of Mitch Flinty. He's not real fond of getting hit hard. And so what I tell him is you run fast, fast, fast. Now, I could sit and tell y'all the story of 10-9, which was actually what, Joe? 13-3? 13-7. It was 13-7. And,
wind in his face.
It was a wind in his face and a hamstring problem, we hear. But anyway, he's a great sport. But he has really come on here in the second half of the season and done a really good job for us on the field. And, he's a quality young man. And I think, he's got a great mom and a great grandma that are based in God. And he's got a great group at home leading him, and he'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And he's going to get this football figured out, and the more we get to play, I think the better he can become as well. But he also is one of our baseball guys, a left-handed pitcher. So Coach Matt's excited about baseball season.
Well, I'm going to say this about Diamond Dev.
Oh,
my nickname.
Oh, okay.
Diamond Devion.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I did not know that. I did not know that, Jeff. That's a new
Diamond Dev. Well, if you watch Button Vision, you guys are busy playing the game.
That's right.
You would know that.
Yes, sir.
But I love all these guys, but Devion, I couldn't help but just kind of think, I know what he's thinking. I feel like I'm on the same wavelength, which make you think less of me. But he can put a move on somebody, having not ever played football, it don't matter, instinctive moves in the open field. And to borrow a phrase from Coach Lewis Murray, he'll leave a defender not knowing if it's George Washington's birthday or Berthington George's wash day.
That's exactly right.
He can
do that. He can break them down. And this week we worked on what? Running straight ahead, find that gap, run hard, and outrun people because he can. Our next senior next to him is Macaulay Keaton. Big Mac's one of those guys that, last year, Coach Dean and I talked about it after the season. We just felt bad for him because he was put in a position that he's not built for. And so we immediately, as we start talking about it, we're going to put him where he can block down, angle block, and use that big body and that big size. And he's done that for us this year. He's been our stalwart at right tackle. And, another one of these 4.0 guys that are mighty close. 4.47. So I knew there's something. Okay, so you.
I'm at 047.
047. Okay, all right, hotty toddy.
Is that the ACT score?
No, Yeah, he's higher on that ACT, but I mean he's doing a lot of dual enrollment stuff with us, but he's had a very good year for us, and you know if we're going to continue on, it's going to be based around you know this first one that I talked about and these last two that I'm talking about. I'm an offensive line guy, and I clearly understand we don't go anywhere without offensive line. It doesn't happen. We can talk all we want to. We can get frustrated as backs and quarterbacks, but if our offensive line doesn't play well, then we're not going to be there. And you know, Mac's been a guy that can do that. He's helped our young guards, and you know, there's a couple of tight ends, and some of them are just really hard to help. And then there are others that aren't. So he's had to learn which ones to help and which ones are harder to help than others. And then you know, Eli Schilling, who is our snapper and center this year. You know, this guy, I can sit and tell stories what he's had to deal with and been through, but he's another one of those guys that I imagine when we walked in the door, it's like, okay, what's this going to be like?
That's right.
You know, what's this going to be like? But he jumped on board early, and we've won ball games, and you can just see it in his eyes and see it in his face. He wants that next win, bad, and he's doing what it takes to get there. He's done it in the weight room for us. He continues to do it on the field, and I knew the day that I knew we're going to be fine, I said something to him about a block he did, and he looked. He said, "I'll fix it." And that's one of my things. I say to kids all the time, "Fix it." I don't want to stand here and keep yelling and talking. Fix it. And he figured that out. That I know what you want. You want me to fix it, so I'm gonna go fix it. Don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
Do your job, fix it, make it happen. And
one thing about Eli, I'll interject. I know that they went to the Pete Jenkins lineman camp, and different people have coached him, but Eli knows some tricks that only Eli knows. I mean, a 3-year starter at that anchor position for your offensive line. He's undersized against whoever it is on the defensive line, hovering over the ball.
And he will be this week.
Yeah. You rush for 400 yards. Some games, Josiah's sitting at whatever he's at right now.
He's closed in on 1,500 yards in a state.
Yeah.
Dinner. He
so
told me,
you can't really
you going to steak after this week, right?
Can't really say that there's a weakness in there, but Eli just gets it.
He does. He gets it done. He gets the job done. He's gritty, and he gets out in there. I mean, I can say that about each of these guys up here when it's time to get it done. You know, and I would love to have had him for 2 years, maybe 3 years, where I could watch that switch come on. It would have been a lot of fun to see that. You know, and then our last senior, you know, a lot of folks might say heart and soul of this deal, Maverick. And here's a young man that, you know, comes in, and the one thing I said this to a newspaper guy during the summer. I said, you know, the guy's got a nickname called the Motor, which is probably one of the coolest nicknames you could have in, you know, planet Earth. And he truly does have a huge motor in the sport. He loves to play the game. And, you know, again, when he was able to be in the ball game, he's a difference maker. You know, we probably one of the play that I will remember for a long, long time, because I don't care what Centerville's record is, I don't care where Centerville is, or what classification, anything, they're still Centerville.
Oh yeah,
and they're still good. And to beat them and that extra point play, man, looked like, I tell them sometimes you got an Acme rocket stuck up your behind, and he looked like he had an Acme rocket stuck in his behind, because son, he was making his way to that quarterback, gets there, makes a huge play and it allows us to get the ball back and Joe to finish off. And it just, you know, and you say, oh well, a lot of people will only remember that Joe scored a big long touchdown. It's us, these coaches, that remember those plays and these little things that occur, and are you lined up right and such as that. And of course, you know, for us as a team, I know as a coach and our coaching staff, we want to coach our tails off on his behalf because we want his senior year to be memorable, even though he's having to recover from an injury. And we love you, brother. And it's a tough deal. It's a tough deal, but it's the sport that we play.
That's right.
And you know, what no one will ever be able to say is, well, he walked away from his team. Because that hadn't happened. He's been at every ball game. He's been there with us through every bit of this, and he's going to be there with us tomorrow night. He'll be with us next week and the next week until we're done winning the state championship, if that's what is in our cards. Because that's definitely, you know, once you secure the fact that you make the playoffs, what's the next goal? There you go win it. You know, and if you're going to go win it. But so for us, these young men have been nothing short of spectacular, and they are tremendous young men. And my prayer daily and nightly is that they become good Christian fathers, husbands, and people in our community. You know, it's one thing to sit here and say we develop football players, and that's good. I love football and I love seeing great guys play football, but more importantly, it's watching the young men who came back, it's watching the ones that were here for that 25th anniversary. And when you see them with their children and their wives and their family, and you see their families doing well,
That's
you see
right.
this great unit. And, you know, that for me, I can remember being 25 and it was all about the win.
That's right.
At 27, it is all about the win. And all of a sudden you get to our age, Jeff, and it becomes about something totally different. I still love to win, don't get me wrong. I want to win at ticket wins. But it becomes about more than that. And that's my prayer for these young men, is that they move on and they're wildly successful, and we can all look back and say, man, we had one fun year.
Oh, yeah.
We enjoyed ourselves
Right.
and had a great time playing this great sport.
That's right. Well, Coach Matt McGee made a statement in a message he sent me the morning after Maverick got injured, and it can apply to all of these guys. He said, I hate that it happened. He's been such a big part in turning the program around.
Yep.
Because I hate to keep going back to it, but last year was just hard
Hard to swallow.
and these fellas have absolutely been on board and took the bull by the horns, as they say, and drug him through the gate.
No doubt. As I said earlier, that, you know, there's. I said this in 1995 when I came here and I was talking to JV football players. You know, we had a 0-10 season that particular year in high school football, and I said to those freshmen that year, as their JV coach, are you going to be the team? Are you going to be the group that changes it? You know, the same can be said for these. Are you going to be the group that everybody looks back? Y'all remember that team that year, that in that 2022 season? That's when it's going to change again, because change has got to occur. And we all hate it sometimes, but it's inevitable. And it's the one constant that we have in life, change. And that we can definitely say that these young men do it, and they deserve the accolades that they get. And I know every one of them sitting here is going to go on and be wildly successful at whatever they do, whether they get an opportunity to play ball on the next level, or whether they go get their education and get them a high-paying job.
That's right.
And ultimately, that's what we want to see them achieve, is we want to see them get out and be successful, be great fathers and great husbands.
That's right. Well, you know the classes, especially the 10th grade class, a huge class. You come on board along with Coach Dean. They could have said, well, we'll float through it and listen to what he's got to say. And whenever they get up here, then we'll turn the tide.
Right.
But our first taste of victory in a Centerville game, and then to compete and be in the games and talk about winning the playoffs, it really gives you a head start on whatever else comes to pass with the team. And I would like to say say this. I've told all the kids that I've coached in youth league, and the bond that you have, and I know you have, with the guys you played high school football.
Oh, absolutely.
I tell the kids that I've coached, my doctor, who I trust with my health, he told me to go get my sternum cut open and get bypass surgery, but I trust him because I played baseball.
Yeah.
And the fellow that took care of my money, whenever I do have an extra dollar or two, I trust him because I played high school football.
Right.
And whenever you're in that locker room and you'll hear everybody from Bobby Hebert to Hall of Fame speech, whatever it is, what do you miss the most about it? Well, I don't really miss the practices, but I miss the locker room.
Absolutely.
You know, I miss the camaraderie. And that's something that these guys can share and help each other, and you'll never forget. I know when I run into somebody on the street, that's what you talk about. High school football, running to somebody at Asia. Boy, I tell you, you remember that game? And it don't matter if they're a medical doctor, brain surgeon, president of LSU, Board of Regents. Hey, you see that fella, he was a heck of a doggone offensive tackle in high school.
Yeah. People remember, don't they?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and you know, if you ever notice this, a lot of people, they never ask you where you went to college. They ask you, where'd you play high school football?
That's right.
You know, where y'all play high school football. And, you know, you talk memories, and one of the things that I hope these kids can achieve this year is to have that moment during this year that I had when I was in high school. I'll never forget it as long as I live. I'm playing left tackle. Our quarterback, he was a stud. And he comes walking in the huddle. He says, "All right, boys, we scored on this play. We're going to go for 2." He said, "And I'm going to go drink a cold beer." You know, this was that was his statement in there. And I'm sitting there looking at him, and then he points at me and he said, "Don't let anybody hit me from the backside." And what did we do? We scored a touchdown. We got the 2-point conversion. And he's going off the field. He said, "I told you, boys." Those are things you remember, right?
Yeah.
You remember those times on the field that are so important to you. And you know, I'm going to remember this group of young men. There have been some special moments, some unforgettable moments with some of our teammates here. There's been some unforgettable moments that we all can laugh about, you know, for a long time to come. But you know, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to the challenge. I love for people to say I can't do something. I love for people to say you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. Well, guess what? Let's go show them we can. And that's what it is all about. That's what this is all about. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, they always say whenever two rivals meet, throw the records out the window or whatever, familiarity breeds contempt. Now, we don't have contempt for but I used to say, and my dad told me, whenever first we were going to have the inter-squad scrimmage, purple and gold game, he said, if you're going to get hurt, it'll be in that game. He said that'll be the hardest hitting game of the year because you're playing against your teammates. You'd think, well, take it easy, but the better you know the fellas, the harder you're going to play. And obviously, Oak Forest would be the team that we have the most familiarity with.
Yeah, we've got a lot of familiarity with them. I mean, they run the same stuff we do. And probably, you know, arguably one of my best friends on planet Earth, coaches on that staff. Yeah, Doug Maceda is a dear friend of mine, and I love his son Drew, who's the head coach, and great people. And tomorrow night, you know, Drew and I met today, and we were talking, laughing. But tomorrow night, we want to beat each other's brains.
That's right.
You know, that's for 48 minutes, we're going to go at it. And he wants to beat me, and I want to beat him, and afterwards we're going to shake hands, and we're still going to be friends. And because the one thing that I think he and I both agree on at both of the schools, we want to create quality young men, and we hope that we do that. That's our goal. You know, we'll do everything we achieve to, and you there's going to be a lot of talk on both sides. And as I tell ours, strap on that lid and put the shoulder pads on and do your talking.
That's right.
Get after it. So it's going to be a great football game tomorrow night. They got a couple of big, huge guys up front, but we got something for them, and we're going to see.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure they got something for us, but it is what it is. It's football. That's the beauty of it.
That's one of the games you don't have to give the big pep talk because the team's going to be ready. Everybody wants to put their best foot forward in every way. I know Jacob's dad, Mr. Mathern, a lot of familiarity with Oak Forest. He said, if you think I have put out a spread for the concession stand in other games, I'm showing out.
He'll have food
on Friday night. So
it'll be good.
Absolutely.
And we know their folks are going to come out and be here. We're going to have a full house tomorrow night. Jeff, I would like to ask everybody to please continue to pray for Coach Henry. He's back in the hospital, and means a lot to me. He's a great man, and I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of things that have gone under the bridge, but at his heart, he's a great man.
Absolutely.
And he's a true mentor to me. And we all know that our day's coming.
That's right.
The good Lord tells us that's going to happen, and He makes no bones about it. It is the equivalent of what happened with Adam and Eve. They created death, and it's going to occur. But I love that man, and Coach, I don't know if you'll ever hear it, but we love you here. We appreciate what you've done, and we want you to get well and get home soon. That's
right. Well, can't wait for tomorrow night. Maverick don't want people to know that his mother was Miss Oak Forest County.
She was. Oh, why would you not? It's okay.
I'm kidding. We're proud of that. But
absolutely.
She's got a lot of family at Oak Forest. She'll probably spend most of her time over there talking. So that's why we want to put it on them if we can.
Well, Jeff, let me add this too, because one of the things I probably remiss on is not talking about our sport groups a little bit. There's a tradition that used to be done years ago. I think Miss Kim Burris and Miss Bonnie Polk were the two that kind of started it, and for many years, the Oak Forest Yellow Jackettes and the Buccanettes and the Cheer, they would all get together. And if the ball game was played in Franklin, they go to Miss Bonnie's house and they have a nice spread and they have a luncheon and they get to know each other. A lot of friendships made that way.
Yeah.
And they would be reciprocated the following year. They'd go to a meeting. Well, there were several years where the teams didn't play and all this kind of strife or whatever. And that's coming back this year. And that's something that's going to go on tomorrow, or today as you're watching this show. But, that's a big thing. And that's what this is all about. This is about building relationships. And we can go out and punch each other in the face on Friday night, but I got a lot of friends in life that we punched each other in the face on Friday nights playing football. And we still like each other. We still like to talk about it. So, there's just so many good things. And we have raised a lot of money for breast cancer awareness this week, and we want you to come out, and I'm going to save the total number that's been raised by our kids and our families this week. The two schools did a combined fundraiser for Mary Bird Perkins for breast cancer awareness. We have one of our young men whose mother has been diagnosed with breast cancer, and it just gives me chills because that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And you just don't ever know when things like that are going to happen. And so it's important to us to give back and be a school of service. And Oak Forest, the idea came together between the two schools. And so we're going to be presenting a check to the Mary Bird Perkins folks tomorrow night at halftime. And we're excited about that. So it's, a lot of folks say, well, it's just about sport. No, it's not. It's about growing young people and service for our community. And I'm sorry I forgot to mention that, but it's just something I thought we ought to get out there because we'd love to have people here to see and to take part in that.
Well, I invite everybody to come out. It will be an absolute packed house. It's going to smell good at Buck Helen Stadium from all the food. If you think the fair, it'll be a time to see people you haven't seen oh, you can get a head start tomorrow night because it will be packed. This group of seniors, my hat's off to you, fellas. And Coach, thank you for making the team significant.
Well, I love these guys. You know, I think a lot of times they hear me tell them I love them and they think I'm just joking or I'm making something up. I do, you know, and when we I don't know, there's just something about this business of coaching that I may get on, but I love them, and I want them to be great young men, and I want them to have love in their heart for their fellow man, and yet at the same time understand we can go out and be physical, we can play football and have a good time, but they're all special to me in their own way, and I think they are for every coach here. Tomorrow night I want to see them give an extraordinary effort. Well, that's all we ask for.
I think they will.
Yep.
So if you cannot be at the game, search Buck Vision and subscribe on YouTube. Raymond Williams, it'll be on his Facebook page, or WLCG 107.3, where Chris Bird will be handling that duty tomorrow. Major McKelvin will be on the air with me on Buck Vision. Thanks to Raymond Williams and RC Photographics for everything you do in being a producer of everything that you see us on. And again, thanks guys for being our guest today. And until we meet again on a victorious set next week, and the playoff picture will be coming together for us. Hey, thanks to everyone who is our sponsor and for those who encourage us throughout the week by saying that you've watched and complimenting what we try to do. We say until we meet again, go